This week's episode is brought to you by ninjas, the silent, deadly assassin. You can hire ninjas to. Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night. If you can't heal at 6 damage, it's your fault. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
That's victim blaming, if I'm not mistaken. But today we're talking about. So, in this week's stream, Bushiroad revealed some of the new Batama support, which made us think that it seems that they kind of chop up the support among a few archetypes in a lot of clans in the first wave, and then it just kind of doesn't really benefit anybody.
Yeah. So I think kind of the issue that I have, like that a lot of people, or like what a lot of people imagine with, how do I say, like this varied support, is that they think that it gives the clan options. I think in the past, the way they've done this support is that it's not actually given anybody options because it's like kind of become super narrow. But I do think that the new cards don't necessarily do that. What I'm saying is, like, while they have different gimmicks, I think they can still be played together for the most part.
It seems that the best example of this is Murakumo's Zanbaku stuff combined with the Mandala Lord.
Right. And while Mandala Lord cares about Mandala name, it's not all he can clone. He can clone anything. And like just riding Mandala and getting a +2 is a big deal, regardless of if you're using his other ability at all.
What was the other ability again?
You can put a card from your hand into Soul and give +3k to as many Mandala Lords as you want.
Oh. Is that once per turn, or can you just spam it in theory?
It's once per turn, I believe.
Oh, okay. That'd be pretty funny. Alright, I shove 5 in, +15k
yeah, but I mean,
everybody.
It seems like not a great skill, except that getting Soul is like pretty big. Like just getting a Soul is like decently large, especially in Murakumo, where you don't want to ride grade 3 a lot. You just want to ride it like twice.
That's true. Listen to our episode about Soul being a limited resource for details, because we went into this a lot in weeks past.
But I think like people tend, like, I think the newer support that's kind of split itself, minus a couple cases, and we'll talk about those, has done an okay job at like making it blend. I think things that haven't is like Artemis in Genesis. Because like Genesis has more lowering soul costs than it has actually
gaining soul.
Yeah, gaining soul.
Well, because the goal is to make it 0, kind of. Right.
Which is interesting, but also makes it so Artemis is like eating up soul that you can't gain back a lot. So that so Artemis is like actively working against what's her name? Hitomi? Himiko, my apologies. So that's one issue that I have, is that I think they've done well with some clans, and other clans they've just like, yeah, we're just going to do these totally wacky different things, like Hamsuke and Great Nature as well.
Oh my god, I cannot stress to you how annoying it is having people, like, at least in Standard, I've been proxying the deck and testing it out, and the amount of people I talk to who are like, what, you're not running Hamsuke? I'm like, why? And they're like, I don't know, it's triple R. I'm like, that doesn't matter.
That's not a justification.
That's not a justification.
I am playing Murakumo's only triple
R. What's his name? The archer that can attack macro. I forgot his name.
So the best reason to play him is that he's a 14k attacker.
Yeah, for free.
Yeah, well, sort of, but the other reason to play, I've almost never used his other ability because there are no like starters that you call out, right? So it's like pretty unlikely that you're able to even attack macro to begin with.
It seems like you would do that just for, I don't know, something vaguely annoying in the back. Which, maybe against Great Nature you do that to kill a Monoculus or something.
I guess.
Could happen.
But, like, it just never happens.
Yeah.
Like, ever. Like, it is such a narrow silly effect that's it's just not even worth thinking about.
Just remembered his name. Fushimi, that was his name, is the Vanguard equivalent of Weird Flex, but okay. Basically.
So the card really reads Grade 2, 14k attacker, triple R for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Origin Rare.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Would you have preferred Mandala Lord as the triple R?
I like his new art a lot more.
You do?
And I don't think any of the Fushimi arts are particularly good, so I also don't care.
Yeah, both of them are kind of whatever. I think the new one is better also.
I guess if anything, I kind of wish the... and I guess this kind of goes outside of the scope of what they were doing with ORs, but I would really like the Arresters as ORs or something weird like that.
That would be neat. Oh man! Speaking of which, how annoying is it going on like the subreddit and the Vanguard Facebook groups where people are just posting pictures of their old cards and just saying, name of card, origin rare, and I'm like, that's the original card.
The issue is I don't go on those groups anymore, so I wouldn't know.
I go on there looking for deals and stuff. Also, I get into a lot of arguments with people because that's.
Do you even have a conversation starter mug?
I don't. I don't have a conversation starter mug, and
Proof has one.
John
has one.
I pissed off Living Proof this week by
because he's an idiot.
Well, no, because I said that. Why is it that the conversation starter mugs are always like dumpster fires of people? And then Proof was like, I'm one of those people. And I'm like,
what's funny is I knew that before you said it. I was like, man, Alice is real dumb.
I would say, why didn't you stop me? But let's be honest, you wouldn't stop me because it's hilarious.
What could I have said prior that would have stopped you?
Nothing, because it's typing, so you can't recognize a look on my face or something before it happens.
Yeah, I was just like, Atlas is about to make a huge mistake, so I'm just gonna sit here with some popcorn and watch it happen.
That's what a good friend would do.
Oh yeah, of course. No, it's every episode of It's Always Sunny.
I don't know. I really like John. I think it's really funny. John is great.
Yeah, John Favreau of Pod Save America. That guy's awesome. No, I'm kidding.
No. John to Jadden. Yeah. Conversation starter. Yeah. Extraordinaire.
Oh, he gets an extraordinaire mug too. Is that a thing?
No. He just has a conversation starter mug.
Bummer.
One day you'll get a conversation starter mug.
If only. How does that happen, by the way?
You start meaningful conversations.
Which is determined how? Oh, whatever.
That's a great question.
We're getting so far off topic, I can't even read a map anymore. Just look. The point is that so starting off in the early days of the reboot, you had Nova Grappler with risers next to heroes.
Hero support.
With a
I forgot heroes existed.
I know, right?
And that's how you know it's kind of a medium thing because, so
medium implies anybody actually played the hero stuff.
Yeah, what was the hero stuff even do? It was like did it even give power for heroes or what?
I think it did.
You had things like Cup Bowler who got 5k if you had another hero. You had, that's kind of it. Boomerang
but it was
thrower
objectively
was
worse than risers.
Oh yeah, of course, because the thing is, when all of this stuff was getting released, everyone's initial reaction was, "Oh look, they're taking the very small amount of cards that this clan has in this pack, and is splitting it two ways." Now, if anybody has ever paid attention to politics ever, you would know that two parties that vaguely do the same thing is called splitting the ticket, and what ends up happening is that neither party wins usually. And this basically happened with Nova Grappler, because you had the hero support and you had the riser support, and people's reactions were mostly, I can do it as a budget option if risers are too expensive. And what ended up happening is that the standard format is so cheap to play that this is that cliche of like every card game anime where like one of the characters gets put in a wasteland somewhere and there's cards everywhere for no reason, and they're like, I'm going to build a deck out of scrap. That's what the hero stuff is.
I just forgot it existed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I forgot
up.
it existed till a
Don't
week
blame
ago.
you.
This is half the reason I got the idea for this episode anyway, because my friend Robert is like, I'm building heroes. I'm like, don't you want to build risers? He's like, I don't know, I just had stuff laying around. I'm like, of course you do.
I mean, it just turns out that Ashura Kaiser is just the best thing you can be doing anyway, right? So whatever.
More or less. Ashura Kaiser does not rely on hero cards, though, which is
great.
Yeah.
He just does whatever for no reason.
Yeah, so Excel Circle, and then when he gets a grade 2 or greater, you stand a rear guard, and if it was a grade 3 or greater, you counterblast, and the thing you stood gets 10k. Generic as fuck and amazing. And, like, people put it with the hero stuff just because whatever. I
don't think you have any other grade 3 bosses with Excel Circles. I think you have one.
Is Ashura Kaiser a hero?
No.
No. Battledore Fighter is, though, which is also a decent card.
Yeah. But it's not that great.
The problem is that, Battledore Fighter, 12k Excel, once per turn you can counterblast, soul blast, choose a unit, and then during the battle it attacks, your opponent has to call 2 or more cards at the same time to guard that unit, and then on van or rear when it attacks a vanguard. If you have 3 or more rear guards, this unit gets plus 5k. So, the problem is that you have to ride this to get the titular Battledore steal off. So, yeah.
I think the skill isn't impactful enough to carry the deck the way restanding a unit and giving it 10k can.
Yeah, now,
right.
if it worked on Rearguard Circle, then you got something. Because now you put that on, your maximum riser that's sitting on the Excel Circle, and then you...
Okay, Murakuma has a better version of this card anyways.
That's exactly what I was going to eventually. But, again, Battledore is a hero, Boomerang Thrower, which, helps Novas get resources, is a hero. Cup Bowler, who's a beat stick, is a hero. But, for the most part, they kind of just don't really do anything, and in Cup Bowler's case, you need other heroes to do stuff. Now, compare that to Risers, which directly need each other, but there are more of them, and they're just, better generically. Like high-powered Riser Custom, which gets you the, Battle Riser that you started with from Soul, and then can let you stand something, is a very good early game skill, and it's a free card, which, because your name is Nova Grappler, is, those are hard to come by.
Yeah. I think, Musashi, the grade 3 in Murakuma, the card is fun.
Yeah.
But, I remember when Murakuma first came out, everyone was like, you're going to run all Zanbaku all the time and 4 Musashi or whatever, right? Yeah. And we knew we weren't going to run 4 Battledore. Somehow.
I think because it's such an expensive cost for what it does. You have to counterblast and soul blast to do the thing, and it's on Vanguard Circle.
Right.
Musashi works on rear.
And it's free.
Works on rear. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think the where I guess I'm kind of getting the issue is where both are really bad rides.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess at the point of Nova Grappler, we weren't sure how not having a second ride, how bad that would be. But by the time Musashi came out, we were pretty sure. So it's still pretty interesting that we weren't quite sure on that until it was way later.
I think part of the advantage Musashi had was that they showed it off in the anime, so it had a big hype moment.
But Battledore didn't.
Yeah.
Because it was mostly up to, what's his name, Miwa, to show off the hero stuff.
Yeah, and he didn't use this card, he used Ashura Kaiser.
Yeah. Not even as a rear guard or something, what a shame. So, this compared to, let's see, I guess you could say the blaster stuff in Royal Paladin with Soul Saver, but not really.
Oh.
I mean, there was some fighting for Soul. Soul Saver needed a lot.
Yeah.
As the name might imply. And there was a lot of fighting for soul when we first looked at Royal Paladin.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where we were wondering like how good even is Alfred.
I mean, people don't run Alfred early in the Soul Saver deck.
Yeah. But it's all like interesting how they've like Royal Paladin was the first one was pretty obvious. They had like two different decks in mind. They had like this Blaster Blade based deck, and then they had like this Soul Saver deck. And I guess they landed like vaguely in the middle or something. I'm not actually sure.
I think it's
No, they did. I feel like for the first wave of support, they did end up landing in the middle because people would just use King of Knights with Soul Saver because King of Knights could just pull Blaster Blade out of the deck instead of from your soul or your hand.
Well, I think the other point is that both of them, like, if you had to ride either, it wasn't as bad.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you don't play them and you end up misriding into one of your bad rides, it'd be really devastating.
Yeah.
But I think it really comes down to the point where like it's incredibly important for clans to have multiple good rides, which I think is actually a mark in favor of the split kind of ideas of the deck. Is that, and this isn't like it's not perfect. It's not a perfect solution. But what I'm saying is like when they have kind of split things that the deck is doing, you end up having probably two good rides for Vanguard, which is incredibly useful, especially in this standard where riding the correct thing is really important.
I think what makes Murakumo so strong is that your rides directly go into the combos you want to do.
Yep.
They are 1 and 2 card combos. In the case of Zanbaku, you pull the Arrestor out of the deck and then go for the no reride still. And then in Mandala Lord's case, you just need literally any other card.
Yep.
Double board. Sweet. It also still baffles me how this deck is like $40 for everything.
Oh, because Murakumo is incredibly not popular clan. It was in the same set of Shadow Paladins with the secret Shadow Paladin rares that are more expensive, which lowers the value of every other card in the set.
Ah, that'll do it.
Not only are Murakumo an unpopular clan and hence will be cheap, also the fact that we had this like hyper chase super cards means that the set was open a shit ton.
Yes,
and people have a lot of extra Murakumo cards laying around.
And yet somehow, at my local card shop, every single box except 2 that I have seen opened there, the VR is Golden Beast Tamer. Every single time. It's like I've seen 1 Death Anchor and 1 Zanbaku as the VR. Every other time it's been Beast Tamer somehow.
Pretty good.
Yeah, always a good time.
Murakumo is solid, although going into the future, I think Murakumo is still okay, but Neonectar is like busted once they get their promo.
We'll see.
Also, looking for that Murakumo promo. TY, thanks, Bushi.
Which promo is that?
The one that when your opponent plays a Sentinel, you can clone your Vanguard.
Oh, right. I'm still waiting on the Savage Trooper for Tachikaze, so I don't have to play freaking Skype Tarot anymore. Would be nice. Also, Stampsy Otter.
I haven't been paying attention to the promos.
A lot of them have been quite good.
Yeah.
Promos are crazy.
Yeah, like the King of Sword, Queen of Heart things are one of the few things keeping Nova Grappler hanging on to dear life. Also, not heroes for some reason, even though they look like they would be. But that's beside the point.
But yeah, Neonectar, Angel Feather are both insane. So here we are.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like other clans where it diverged like that. Great Nature. Okay, so everyone. What a lot of people have been saying about Standard for Great Nature is that Leopold gets neutered pretty hard by Murakumo, funnily enough, and the other option, quote unquote, in Hamstay dies if you don't ride all the grade 1s and 2s, which is correct. But also, like, there's another grade 3 named Armed Instructor Bison that no one's paying attention to, apparently.
We just play like 3 of that guy in like one of the great Giftless one, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, So far, my build is just 4 Leo, 4 Bison. I haven't really.
Have you not tried the giftless guy out at all? He looks pretty sweet.
I have not tried the giftless guy out. I might. Just because a card is giftless doesn't mean it's useless. Like the Chimera and Pale Moon. That thing's freaking gas. But the idea that Hamstay, yes, it's a split, but also I think most of the rest of the clan is in its first wave has just been fairly generic. It's just, all right, 3 cards mill, 1 gets them back from the drop, the rest are just kind of whatever. They don't really do much.
Right.
I was actually struggling looking for grade 1s to put in the lineup, going, I don't want to run more than 12 because I literally cannot think of anything else. Has that ever happened to you before?
No.
They're not bad necessarily. They're just kind of there.
Like Pale Moon and OTT have pretty straightforward builds.
Oh yeah, you got your starting presenter and your Midnight Bunny and jumping chill, and I do think you have some fun space to play in the grade 2 lineup, but that's me. For Pale Moon, and then OTT, that I guess we should eventually talk about this because we're kind of seeing the rest of the Miyagi high school set unravel here, and it appears that in OTT's second wave they are splitting between Magus and witches.
See, the vibe I'm getting from this is they're starting to slide back into all the archetype shit they did in Limit Break era.
In what way?
Just removing the word limit break.
Yeah, because right now, all the witch stuff requires you to have other witches, and same with Magus. We've already talked about Pentagonal. Her skill is only a break even if you run a full Magus deck. If you have even one non-Magus in your front row, she's an instant minus.
I'm gonna say if Scarlet Witch Coco is not the OR, I'm gonna riot.
We should probably say what the skill is. So, her grade 3 12k protect gift. When you ride from a grade 2, you draw a card. So, hooray, no ride minus for you. Or a plus, because you did the gift also. And then, act on Vanguard once per turn. You can counterblast, Soul Blast a grade 3, draw 2 cards, and then discard any number of cards with witch in their card names from your hand. And for each card discarded, you get 1 protect gift.
Would you like many protect gifts?
I met a guy who's like, when these come out, my grade 3 lineup is gonna be 4 Starlit Witch Coco and then the deer, and then that's it. I'm like, how are you gonna get that many grade 3s in Soul, sir?
Yeah, how are you gonna get all the grade 3s in there?
And all right, so here's how you're supposed to play this deck. You're supposed to ride the grade 1 witch, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to I don't know. Then you're supposed to ride the grade 2 witch, right?
Yeah.
And then you ride the grade 3 witch, counterblast 1, soul blast, or you draw 1. Then you soul blast 1 to draw. Then you soul blast your 0 to draw 1, and then you soul blast the 2 to call the 1 to rear guard circle.
Okay, and where does Coco's skill come in?
When riding, you draw 1.
No, the other skill, the getting gifts.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't. You just draw 2 cards and get a rear guard.
If you were to go for a full witch deck, I don't even know how it would work, because the other witch grade 3 is when it attacks, you can reveal any number of protect gifts from your hand, and you gain 5,000 to your front row for each one. But for Coco to get you all of those protect gifts, you have to soul blast a grade 3. So this takes 3 turns to pull off.
I'm just saying that on grade 3 ride, you draw 2 cards and get an 8k grade 1 that can be shove into soul to draw more cards. That's all I'm saying right now.
Okay, but where do you win exactly?
Yeah, how does this deck work?
I'm not worried about winning. I'm just worried about drawing lots of cards.
Okay, so we can deck out faster against Angel Feather.
Nah, man. Yeah. The unstoppable Exodia. That's what you're going for.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm here to draw cards and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Nexus at Night, the Duke Nukem reference podcast. Do you remember when they're like, the sequel's coming out, and we're like, awesome, and then it kind of never did, and then eventually...
It got canceled.
Yeah, exactly. They were like, oh, it got canceled. I'm like, all right, it's 2009. I don't care anymore.
Yep, nobody cared, so it never happened.
That joke is almost like 15 years old, give or take some.
Man, rest in peace, Duke Nukem.
Watch the OR be Tetramagus for no reason.
Of course it is. But yeah, so what bothers me is that the Magus stuff looked pretty good-ish, as we talked about last week, and the Witch stuff kind of looks like you're spinning your wheels for nothing so far.
Yeah.
The whole set has not been revealed yet, so if you're in the future and you're like, oh my god, guys, Witch has led to the death of Vanguard, then I'm sorry, I was wrong. But as of right now, they kind of just do nothing. A lot of people are like, this is broken, I get all the protect gifts I want, and then in my head I go, okay, that's great, but you also have to discard every time you use them.
Yeah,
so...
There was somebody who posted on Vanguardians about this, and in my head I was just like, you do realize protect gifts are, like, stupidly expensive, right?
Consider this. You can drop protect gifts to other protect gifts.
That is true.
But you also don't, like... It would make sense if you had a handful, like, 5k shields, and you needed protect gifts against, I don't know, force. Like, it helps it against force, but not Excel, which was the main freaking problem we were at in the first place.
Yeah. And now we have an Excel clan that retires shit, so this is, like, losing even harder.
Can I just bring up something while we're on this topic?
Of course.
Can we talk about Vermilion?
Oh, yeah, sure.
What about Vermilion?
All right, so his skill, he's a grade 3, 12k Excel gift. Act once per turn, Vanguard Circle only. Counterblast 2. That's right, we're already upset. During that turn, this unit gets power plus 5,000 and crit plus 1. But if your opponent's front row rearguard is 2 or more, instead of gaining crit plus 1, it attacks all front row units.
Why didn't it just do both? There was no reason for it not to do both at the same time.
For Counterblast 2, there's no reason not to do both.
For Counterblast 2, you better get me a freaking cruise to the Bahamas.
God, this card went from everyone being like, whoa, get the crit, to, oh my god, it's Counterblast 2, why?
Yeah. See, if it gained 15,000 and a crit, then I think I'd be fine with it, because, like, all of the other power-gaining cards, you're paying something else in exchange for that extra Counterblast, right? Like, you have to ride on top of a grade 3, or now with Raven-Haired Ezel today, you have to be on the previous Ezel. What's his face? Phantom Blaster, you have to retire 3 rear guards, so if Vermilion gained 15,000 and a crit, I think I'd be fine with it, because, like, alright, I'm trading in 3 rear guards or an extra turn for a Counterblast. Like, that's something at least, right?
I'm not saying that, and I'm not doing this from, like, a point of being spoiled from G or something. It's just that you don't need to do one or the other for Counterblast. I didn't necessarily, like, it didn't even have to be 15k and a crit. Just let him have both. Why not? Yeah. Let him keep them.
I think the actual most upsetting part about Vermilion is the crit is actually the worst option.
Yeah, it is.
Like, the crit is, like, Counterblast 2 for 5k and a crit is just definitely
overcosted.
It's incredibly overcosted. So you're pretty much only looking at using the skill when your opponent has 2 or more front row rear guards. And even at 2, you're on par with your retire skills, which means this is really only getting value against Excel clans who have full front rows.
Yeah.
So it's literally the opposite of OTT's problem, which is it helps the thing it was good with more. It doesn't help its weaknesses.
Right, but like you can't, like, people talk about this deck being like anti-Excel or whatever, and the problem with being anti-Excel is that Kumo pluses a lot for reasonably similar amounts of stuff. Like, Kumo can set up Mandala against Narukami by calling you into the back row.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget, if you use the lockdown, this card can't attack.
Right. So it's all kinds of it's not. I don't even think this deck, while I think it matches up well against a lot of Excel clans. I'm not even convinced it matches up well against the presumable best Excel clan.
Okay. I don't like Vermilion doesn't. I think both options you have, you can either just replenish your board fairly easily, or if you get the lockdown, this card is just useless.
Yeah, I think Composure is fine, and I think what's his name?
Stinger. Drill.
The VR is pretty good.
Drill. Yeah.
Yeah, Drill is fine. I think you can work with it.
Yeah, okay. Stinger. I have no idea what to think about Stinger, and please don't ask me.
In its defense, though, I do think that because it's a double R, where you shouldn't really be expecting that much from it. But
I guess that's the thing, is like we've seen other things with similar skills that have like more to them.
Right.
Like, I guess the easiest comparison is Phantom Blaster. Like, you're trading 3 rear guards for an extra counter blast, but it gains 15,000 instead of just 5.
Yep.
Let me ask you fellas a question. When you think of Nubatama, what exactly do you think of?
Clearly, I think of Bermuda Triangle.
Okay, because the technically correct, but also you're an asshole. I
don't know how you didn't see that coming.
Well, okay, I don't know anymore. But anyway, so what I'm saying is that Nubatama is a clan with a very fraught history that Bushiroad just kind of never seems to know what to do with. Originally, it was all about discarding cards from the opponent's hand, which is a very strong skill. Then they kind of brought it down a little bit to binding cards from the opponent's hand, then giving them back at the end phase. Then that turned into After Image, which was like Root Beer said, Bermuda Triangle. Thank you, Root Beer.
Well, not entirely. Like, After Image worked in conjunction with the previous bind shit from hands skills, so
true.
They just kind of advanced that where you started retiring shit in the bind zone, and then After Image was just a way for you to get your cards back.
Yeah, and then that turned into Dominate, which was... What the fuck was that?
That was something.
That was definitely insane. So I'm going to read the newly revealed Nubatama VR and Triple R from this upcoming set, and you tell me, do these go well together? So the first one is Shura Stealth Dragon Kujikuri Kondo, I think I got that right. 12k, grade 3, protect gift. On Vanguard, once per turn. If your opponent's hand has 4 or more cards, counterblast 1. Your opponent chooses a card from his or her hand and discards it. Awesome. And also on Van, when your opponent's rear guard is returned to the hand due to your card's ability, your opponent cannot call cards with the same grade as the returned card's grade until end of turn. And then the other one is Magatsu Storm, who's the VR, somehow. This is the higher rarity card, this one. On Van, when it is attacked by your opponent's Vanguard, you can counterblast 1 and retire 2 rear guards, and this cannot be hit until end of battle. And then also on Vanguard Circle, when your rear guard is returned to your hand during your turn, you Soul Blast a grade 3, draw a card, call 3 cards from your hand to rear, and they get plus 5k till end of turn. Does it go together?
Nope.
Sure.
Right after Labor Day.
Well, see, the thing is, like, on their own, they would be fine. The problem is the support around them is reliant on your Vanguard.
Almost as if this was the theme of the episode.
Yep. Where is
Rainbow.
the grade 2 version of Magatsu, or was that not revealed?
There's Magatsu Breath that got revealed. Which
Yeah,
was...
okay, yeah, we never saw a grade 2 for... But yeah, like, Breath, you need to have a Vanguard with Magatsu in its name to gain power, and then, like, so far it's mostly just the Magatsu support that returns your own rear guards to your hand. I think a Boro card does it too.
He returns himself. It's so you can recycle that doubling power.
Yeah, but that still benefits Magatsu Storm. But then you have the Stealth Dragon support, where there's a grade 2 Shura Stealth Dragon Kabuki Kongo, where you need Kujikiri Kongo as your Vanguard for it to gain 5,000. Then you can return all of your opponent's cards in the same column to their hand, and they discard the same number as the returned cards.
Sure.
So, like, we're already seeing the support getting split between sure stealth dragons and Magatsu.
So I think that, and you all can, I don't know if this is true or not. From what it seems to me, is it almost seems like they want Nubatama to be a more aggressive Protect clan.
So a Protect clan that plays like an Excel clan.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We've completed the trifecta, boys. We've completed the gifts that play like other gifts. Yeah. Finally.
Also, Dreadmaster also needs Kujikiri Kongo to get its discard effect to work as well.
Yes, and then there was also this one's common, but Stealth Dragon Dam Breach Grade 2. When your opponent's rearguard is returned to your, if an opponent's rearguard was you or your opponent's rearguard was returned to your hand to a hand during this turn, this gets plus 6k. So free 15k beat stick.
Yeah,
so you can
that one is generic between the two of them, but
that is true. But also, you know,
you know what's funny?
What
is this doesn't work with After Image because they return at the end of turn.
I mean, sorry for premium. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, premium one doesn't care in the first place, right? You're just gonna play the new cards with fucking what's his name?
With Jesus.
Rin.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Rin is lame and stupid.
Dreadmaster was on Vanderweer when placed.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
On Vanderweer, when placed, you discard a card, draw one. Then, if you have Kujikiri Kongo as your vanguard, you can return the card to your opponent's hand, and they discard a card.
God, that's good.
Yeah.
So, now that we have Bermuda Triangle and dragons, what is Bermuda Triangle going to do?
That's a good question.
They're probably just going to keep doing the same thing.
Yeah, I refuse to believe that we're going to do anything else.
Calling it now, they're gonna do like Cho-Cho type stuff.
You think so?
I
like
think
return
so.
to deck and
Yes.
draw or call?
Because I get the feeling Bushiroad is like, we kind of did too much. We should probably diverge a little bit. Hopefully, I like to think they have that kind of hindsight, but
it's gonna be one of those two things where you either bounce the hand or bounce to deck. Either way.
But yeah, so already you're getting a split between Kujikiri Kondo and Magatsu. There is some, crossover between them, but I think that the Kujikiri Kondo stuff is way crazier to me.
Yeah.
Especially in a format where people don't have like 12, 15 card hands anymore. You have like 7, maybe.
And every card matters.
Exactly, and especially where this a Protect clan with whose supposed weakness is supposed to be against Excel can now make you just, all right, you got 4 cards in your hand, you're down to 0. And the reason I say this is not because the skills. No, the way the return and then discard skills are, most of them, if there's nothing to return, they just discard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, this is
well. No, for the grade 2, they have to choose the same number as the cards that are returned.
That is true, and that's why I said most.
Things
like Dreadmaster, like Soul Blast.
Those Dreadmaster?
Your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards, returns it to hand.
Yeah,
chooses a
the
card.
way Dreadmaster is worded, that's just a straight discard if there's nothing to return.
Straight fucking discard. That's crazy.
And frankly, Excel hands are so small anyways that...
Like, literally one card out of an Excel player's hand is amazing. Also, Kujikiri Kondo just gets a straight discard once per turn. So, depending on how much of a counterblast problem they have, this...
I mean, they already look like they have a lot.
Oh, yeah.
The grade 2 is counterblast 2.
Okay, yeah, so maybe there is something there. But, this is looking pretty solid for what it is so far, even though it is split. Do you think maybe this might have been on purpose?
I mean, I think there's not really much of a choice. I think they're kind of going after different images that they have of Nubatama, but I think because of the limited card pool of everybody, you're going to have to mix in some way.
Yeah.
especially if too many cards like split. You just have to take the best ones of each and call it good. Which actually could not be a bad thing. Again, this could theoretically improve the quality of your cards.
Yeah.
Because instead of playing like actual trash cards because you just don't have enough cards of your one gimmick that are like good, then you can have like medium cards of another gimmick and like mix them in a way where they still like make sense. But I think the problem I have with the Kabuki Kujikiri Cargo cards is that they all care about if your Vanguard is Kujikiri Kongo, and I think that is actually really bad.
Yeah. Well, because if you misride, you're
done.
creek. Yeah.
Yeah. Your cards just don't have abilities, which I think is a really bad indication of New Batama in particular, where other clans don't have that issue as much.
Yeah, no, all the Grand Blue cards don't give a shit if your Vanguard's Bastard. Now,
well,
I care if my Vanguard's Bastard, but Captain.
But that's like one thing that makes Grand Blue not that great is that you care about riding one specific Vanguard and you don't have a good backup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get that next time, but
and then I think for the last point in this, like, we're also seeing Gold Paladin is leading hard into Ezel now.
But also, Gold Paladin still cares about one thing, and that's calling during the battle phase from hand.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I think is going to make Gold Paladin this really wacky all-in deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
which is fine.
Raven Hair is just gain 15k in a crit, and your opponent can't call Sentinels.
Here's my 35 of the crit. No Sentinels. Good luck.
Hey, sorry, Protect. I know I was already kind of a decent matchup against you, but here's gonna seal the deal, my friend.
Yeah. So yeah, like it looks to me like they're starting to slide back into archetype support with what we're seeing right now.
Yep.
Do you find this to be a bad thing, or?
Yes.
Like, I don't think it's bad necessarily for a clan to have like one unit that it focuses on, but I think it's bad to have everyone care about that unit being on your fucking Vanguard circle.
Yeah. But for me, I just hate it when everything has to have that one specific name, because like once Bushiroad gets tired of that particular theme, like the whole deck just falls apart and cards don't age well.
See,
like we're already seeing this with Premium, where everything cares about keywords or archetypes, and so if you don't fit in with that playstyle, it's really hard to build a Premium deck.
Yep.
That being said, this is something I really liked what they did with Stride. A, because you had your cards that allowed you to Stride being able to search the main grade 3 that you needed to do stuff. Ride consistency. But also, as time went on with, a lot of clans, you had Strides with the main grade 3's name. So you would still get all the cards off just by going into Stride on whatever, grade 3 you have, and look no further for this than Narukami, because everything wants a freaking Vanquisher Vanguard, and bam, there it is.
Premium Narukami is something that I don't even care about.
I care. It looks fun.
Yeah, it looks fun. I'm probably going to get into it. And of course, I'm going to build Magus.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm just not going to care at all.
Yeah.
Man never cares about anything.
Untrue. I care about L5R. Does that count?
Kind of. That being said, you mentioned earlier, Rootbeer, about them leaning hard into Ezel. In Standard, Gold Paladin wasn't looking so hot that first time around. Granted, we haven't had, the set come out with the second wave there until when another...
this new Ezel stuff looks pretty good, though.
Yeah,
I will say that.
We will definitely have an episode in the future about how the second wave's going, because we have a good sample size in this set. You have OTT, Royals, Golds, all getting their second wave.
Yep.
And then we're getting that later in the Deleter set, and I get more Pale Moon stuff. Huzzah.
Where's my Murakumo second wave?
Also in that set.
And Shadow Paladins.
Yeah, and DIs.
Yeah, we're just getting AL4 Mark 2 with the leaders.
DI needs it. Holy shit, their first run was bad in Standard.
Yeah. and on the other end, like, absolutely bonkers in Premium, thanks to Miss
Well, I
Thang,
mean,
the
they just
assassin.
need the one card.
Oh yeah, of course.
I think the really baffling thing about them in Standard was like how low their average card quality was.
Yeah.
Like the average cards you're playing in the Standard DI deck are like just garbage.
A lot of it is that they required too high of a soul number for very medium effects.
One.
Yeah, soul charge 1, then if you have 10 or more, you can kill something. Why? Why not just make it 5? There's no reason not to. Like, it's 1 retire. You're fine, you know?
Yeah.
Whirl Cedar, 5k if you have 5 or more cards in soul. Great, that's not terrible. You know?
Clearly the problem is that they never made Amon in Standard.
Oh yeah, no dead tree action for us. That sucks.
I'm still mad about that.
I mean, apparently he just never used Amon in the manga, so we might never see it.
Yeah.
All I know is I'm like in this Miyagi said, I'm excited for the return of Swordsman of Explosive Flames, Palamedes. And yes, I know it's supposed to be Palamedes, but I just like to imagine him with Wilfred Brimley's face going Palamedes, and it makes me laugh.
Do we have anything else on this topic?
Diabetes? I don't really have much else there.
Yeah. No, I meant for the topic of the episode.
No, I know. Just
yeah.
That was all I could think of.
I got not shit.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, one more thing. What is up with some of these Gold Paladin reveals where it looks like either really bad CGI or they got some of the artists from Dragoborn?
Look, nobody knows.
Completely off topic, I know, but just...
At least Ezel looks decent.
Yeah.
He looks like the standard quality for Vanguard.
Yeah, and then you have things like scrolling down here. Knight of Counterattack Daenerys. And he looks like just like an 80s manga that's been colorized or something.
It's okay, they're bad anyways.
What, just they get 3k on the turn not that they're not called? Or
yeah. Like, ooh, a turn later you can be a 12k beater.
Yeah, because...
Shitty cards thrown in the trash, colorized.
1947. All right, that's pretty much enough for today, unless anybody's got anything else.
Nope. I think I'm...
Give us our fucking promos, Bushiroad. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah, give us our fucking promos, and and find us on Twitter or Instagram at Nexus at Night, or me at Atlas Novak.
Right?
Come on, that was a banger of a segue. That was great. Find him at Wiggum's and
find me at Plasma Eclipse.
Yeah.
Yep. That's me.
Until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm still Matt.
And I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night, everybody.